Yeah, you better keep walking. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Hey, up here, piggo.
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter?
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. The lieutenant is hatching some scheme.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition, but she appears helpful. Is what you want to say, but it isn't that easy. Look at that lady. Take a gander. Squint your eyes, bub. Why, yes, tucked away under that sturdy green raincoat, almost rustic in its simplicity, a silk shirt and matching scarf around, while dull orange pearls hang from her earlobes, red from the cold. Her light green eyes scan you. These are the kind eyes of the rich man that seem to say, everything is possible. Now look at you, you misery-clad simian, barely able to tie your own laces. Your armpits are lakes, a scythe of boot. You're poor, poor as balls. You can't ask this person for money. You're too. Yes, you're too ashamed to ask this person for money. Oh God, the lieutenant is here too. Do not.
As I was saying, if there's any way I may be of assistance, please don't hesitate to ask.
I am sorry.
afternoon. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board. I'm glad I was just...
That is good too.
There's a trick.
How interesting.
It's hard to get a read on her precise disposition. Is what? Look at that lady. Why, yeah. Wow. These are the kind. Now you're poor. Yes. Oh,
As I was saying, if there's any...
voila. You're doing it.
Ah, yes, of course. I'm sad to hear that. How...
She's surprisingly nonchalant about this. Could it be that she somehow knows more about your predicament than she's letting on?
That's a good sum. Not too small, not fantastically large.
She removes a few notes and hands them to you. Whoa, whoa! Did you see how easy that was? Ask her for more. Toot toot. Train to Moneytown. Can you eat honor? Are you an omnivore? Give me.
So, I hope I didn't just bribe you, officer. It may not be technically illegal under the Emergency Act, but still.
You're right, ma'am, that donations are permitted under the Emergency Act, unseemly as it may be, as long as they're properly logged with the precinct.
Which he most certainly will do. Now, how else can I help the RCM today, besides supplementing its salaries? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi, and this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment.
How curious. Why is that, Detective?
Awkwardness washes over the conversation. The woman doesn't like this turn of events.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by...
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more until I...
Hang on. She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuate.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors. They're going to want to...
You're in, but expect her to drive a hard bargain.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls the terminal, so it goes to reason.
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps Perhaps someone with your authority and resources might turn over the right stone, or you can recover your badge. Though, if I may be blunt with you, it...
Detective, a word in private before we continue. This is not going quite as I hoped it would, Detective. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchmen. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along, or she's simply an adept improviser. Either way, we've played straight into her hands.
He doesn't let it show, but there is a limit to how much the consequences of your unprofessional behavior can cost the investigation.
No. If there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we are siding with the Union, or that we are on their take. What I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done, and demand for her information on the lynching. I'm sure you will, Detective. Oh, that would be fantastic, but do we have the time? The world is large and your badge is 8 by 6 centimeters. You could request a new one from the station, but that would literally take months.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? This reality. Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like...
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality.
We may be here a while then. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. North of the... You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens during the Revolution. It has its charms, just not this time of year. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once before, as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. There are ruins. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. The further down the coast, the wilder it gets. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. And yes, we're on an island in an ocean, the world's largest body of water, the Insulindic.
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues, vast, lukewarm and unknowable, flowing in and out of sight.
Caillou. Imagine a pebble. A smoothed-over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks are the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez district.
It is clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large.
Revachol? Revachol is what you call, the great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory, beyond patriotism, a fact.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. Our part in it, at least. Our centuries. In the DeLorean century. 380 years ago. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Semenine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. The tensions are highest, the fault, by that I mean, conflicts. Ideological. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. It's where the money is. I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the Bank of the World building. The bottom floors are Insiacom. Coalition government in Cylindian Mission Command.
Silence. She lowers the water, the light. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea and the cold radiating from it. She observes your eyes scanning the horizon, then breaks the silence, slowly. This is one thought you need to complete.
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Monsieur will be here later too.
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Anything else? Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild Pines and return with Wild Pines' counteroffer.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago. Now they won't even let me into the harbor. There's a 2-meter 20 racist behemoth blocking the gates. What can I say? The union employs a giant covered in tattoos. A racist giant. I guess that's part of their big tent organization now. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I prefer to do these things on...
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused to speak with Gaumont despite concessions he'd granted the union in prior negotiations.
This isn't the first time the union has gone on strike.
Heavens no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions, including overtime pay and a medical plan. This time their demands are more, I guess you could say, aggressive. Mr. Clare told him to... how did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Keep in mind, this is a negotiator Mr. Clare has worked with before, and who was more than fair with him and the union.
Sounds like usual aggressive posturing.
There are leaflets everywhere, and banners. What did they say? Every worker, a member of the board. In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board. Fortunately, they explained it. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision about anything, it needs the signature of each of the 2,200 workers. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines. Essentially, not only are they kings of the company, they are also kings of the 72,000 employees of Wild Pines Group. That may well be. It's not up to me to decide who is king, but as negotiations go, I'm not sure. Naturally, I assume that was just their opening position, a hard-nosed tactic with a side of mockery. But there's been no follow-up, just the same nonsensical slogan repeat. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear. Behind the whirling in rags.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear about this lynching?
I first heard it from the bowyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, "Call me mañana."
This checks out.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him, it's that he always puts the interests of the work. Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more irredeemably nepotistic, then it's his twin brother, Edgar. Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does, and when one's term as foreman is up, the other takes over. It's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' dues. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the Emergency Act, but they did it. I can respect that. Organised labour at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a... how do you say?
A mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be forced to cooperate with them.
Refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past, but I'm afraid our concessions have only emboldened Everard. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Indeed, and a hungry one. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. However much you feed the leech always hungers. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union.
Disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Indeed. The company suspects foul play, but there's nothing they could do. The point of the presentation is, these kinds of things
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Of course. How else can I help? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle raw ingredients from the Samaran Isla into Revish.
Ingredients for what, ma'am?
Meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you can't make from the stuff. Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track. The actual production is...
Wild Pine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the union also produces the product? So
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the union does not produce it. They transport the ingredients for a cut. Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dockworkers Union. Still. The lorries. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city. Once they reach Jamrock, they're distributed to a network of local manufacturers well beyond our grasp. But in transit, they are vulnerable. Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the drivers who are still hanging about. I'll be explicit. If you find this driver,
You'll be indebted to her, in a way. But one step ahead of the union in another.
The two might even be connected.
Or not. Though, if you have evidence to the contrary, I'm...
As eager as I am to share it, Lieutenant, once the job is done. How do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the 4th month straight.
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find...
It sounds like she tried looking into it herself, though she's clearly not the type your typical lorryman would confide in.
No. We asked East Motor Track to raise the drawbridge. The road company is a partner of one of our subsidiaries. This is a limited time opportunity. Once the complaint has been processed by the trade committee, they'll have no choice. Thousands of litres of raw ingredients will pour onto the streets of Revachol. Not the east across the river, but the west. The vulnerable, the weary.
Well, at least this solves one mystery.
What is that, Lieutenant?
Why I had to call East Motor Track and beg them to open a drawbridge for me. I'd wondered since I first drove in, on my motor carriage.
I am sorry for the inconvenience, Lieutenant Kisaragi, but we need them trapped here. This is a unique opportunity. We did. On more than one occasion. Apparently, there's some sort of inter-precinct disagreement about whose jurisdiction...
We know the company has launched its own probe into the union's alleged involvement. We also know it's come up empty. It's not just the RCM, no...
Well, here's your chance, officers. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least 3 lorry drivers. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. I can keep the drawbridge up for a few more days at least. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. Of course, Detective.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The time as the vows are blurred and flesh. Lower intestine. The term is metabolic and circulatory fascism, Brota. Many things, But it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachel's problems? Quit stalling, Bruta. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. The weak link. Yes, them. Women. Women. Men of Wu. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Wu men need to go back to the fucking kitchen. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that Wu stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth. You're going to keep your vooz, right? Keep your vooz, Brota. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines. No, it is one of betrayal and disappointment.
When I'm talking to you. Yeah, you better keep walking.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheat.
He's downplaying his excitement. The lieutenant is more than happy to show off his precious. The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps, and the engine. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electric.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears. A street grid and
There she is. Revachol West.
around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of micro-perforations. The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer in the Kanema's headlights.
Let me see. Right here. No, it does not.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. The next is the longest. It runs all the way around. There are so many, it's hard to count. More than 150. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed. The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? Cool. I'm glad you joined us. Not a lot of money in doom crying. Let's move on. This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. Right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock.
What's it feel like to kill a man, Mr. McCoy? A young woman asked the man across the desk from her. Honestly, babe, says John McCoy, crossing his ankles over said desk. I don't feel anything anymore. It's just like brushing my teeth. I do it once or twice a week and don't really think about it.
There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab.
Yes.
It's not a problem for him to state it, however. The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
You can now see your statistics on your journal page, to the right of the task description.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheat.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Just a second, officer.
Ten 2, 10-5. This is 41st. Come in. Over.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty cubicle, smoking, with a large white rectangle sewn on his vest. In front of him is The man uses relay code. You got this. You're a cop, and cop...
10-4, message received. 10-5, relay message. What's your status? Over. 10-18, state your message, sir. 10-9, over. 10-4, message received. This is a very serious situation. I need to 10-20.
Is it him? What does he want?
Says he lost his badge and needs to report.
He what? He lost his badge?
Who lost his badge?
Dick fucking Mullen. Who do you think?
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the name of a fictional detective who would not lose his badge. Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
He says this has probably happened to other policemen before him and laughs sarcastically.
Oh goddammit. Is he fucking kidding? The whole station's gonna be dicked for this.
Satellite Officer Vikmar is wondering if you might be joking and adds that this tarnishes the reputation.
Mullen dicked us.
He's asking you to stop, says this.
Of course it's serious.
Satellite Officer Vikmar concurs, losing your badge is serious. Over. 10-4, I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make a note here that you are in pursuit of your misplaced badge. Over.
Fuck me. Mac, come here. You've got to hear this. Dick Mullen.
What's going on?
Super Cop here lost his...
He lost his what?
His badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge.
He asks you to please stop saying he lost his badge.
Why? Did he find it?
Sergeant Orson was wondering if you found your badge yet. Over.
You don't have a comeback. Sorry. It's hard.
He's not replying. Looks like he's still looking for it. 10-9, come again. I didn't get that. Over.
New heights even for Captain So.
Ask him. Ask him if he's lost his gun. Sergeant Orson wants to know if you lost your gun.
Check your pockets. Check your... Holy fuck. You don't know where it is, do you? No. It's gone.
Don't sweat it, Bratan! You don't need a gun to have fun! We can still have...
10-9, come in, officer. Did you get my question? We were wondering about your gun. Over.
Even before you can get the words out, everything gets scrambled in your brain.
He says he didn't lose his gun. Or he's...
Ask him to describe it. His gun. Not his fun. Just...
Satellite Officer McLean requests a description.
Oh, request a description, huh? We'll give him one. Describe the plasma gun.
It's a single-shot kill A9. and
Says it's a key armistice? What, is he a fucking... Clearly he doesn't have his...
Dear God, he lost his gun? Oh my, I can't.
This isn't really a lot.
Mac can face a giant of cocoa noodle by himself, but Disco hit made him piss his pants.
Oh, I can't. Fuck. He lost his... Ask him if he still got his wiener. Oh man.
I'm not going to.
Ask him.
Sergeant Orson here is wondering if you are still in possession of your genitalia. Over. That's a negative. No.
What's he saying? Share with the class.
He said he sodomized your mother.
The prick ate Mama's vanilla waffles at the captain's birthday party. Some nerve he's got.
Sure, her vanilla waffles were the only thing he...
Shut up, Chester. This isn't funny. Tell him to apologize right now.
Sergeant Orson requests that you apologize for the claims you made about his mother. Over. Like, he says you shouldn't have antagonized the firewalker in...
Who?
Satellite Officer V. I'm afraid he might be referring...
Fire water? He's lost it. Fuck it, tell him to find...
Satellite Officer V. Then for affirmative.
Oh God,
Officer, do you need further assistance? Over. Okay, 10-4, sir.
Wait. Before you say anything stupid, think it through. You're going to be looking at a straitjacket if you tell everyone you lost your memory.
10-4, sir. I'm not hearing your question. That's a negative, sir. I got a 10-12. Visitors present here. Over.
What? What is it?
He wants to verify the information.
But of course, it says Dick Mullen, High General of the Revenue.
Tell him to stop wasting time.
What do you need, sir? Over. 10-4. You
Hold up, Jules. He doesn't fucking know where.
seems like it, sir.
No, fuck him. Don't tell him anything. You understand?
Sorry, sir. Anything more I can do for you? Over. Understood, sir. Over. Roger that, 10-10.
18 kilometers to the south, in the 41st Precinct's relay booth, a small crowd has gathered around Communication Officer Jules Oldboy Pidier, around a dozen cops. The small room is filled with cigarette smoke, abuzz with laughter, when Officer Judith Minnow enters.
What is going on here? Did something happen?
What happened is my partner made contact. It's not good. He's lost his badge and his sidearm. He seemed
Mac, the torso Torson, is finger-fucking his fist, laughing hoarsely and apparently telling some dirty story to his partner, Chester McLean, near the entrance.
Yeah, Mullen was fucked, alright. Sounded fucked.
Yeah, Mac's right.
Enough! None of this is funny. It's fucking sad. That's what it is. He's a cop. He's one of us, goddamn.
We must help him.
Yeah? How do you fucking plan to do that, huh? Get him off the drink? Go jogging with him in the morning and get him on carrot juice?
I just know we can't give up on him when he's at his weakest. He wouldn't.
Mac, man the door. You know what he told me? I don't want to get better. I want to get worse. Those were his words. This shit does not leave this room. Not a word of this to the captain. Or anyone else. We'll give him a couple of...
I guess I can hold off the report for a few days.
Good. Okay, everybody. Nothing but a prank call here. We all got...
Far north, on the other side of the motorway, the officer quietly hunches with his hand in the motor carriage. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and the soft glow of the fuel preheating.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? It will take just...
Her voice is...
Gottlieb, what do you want?
He's carelessly chewing on a piece of hard candy.
Oh.
Was that a snarl or a suppressed groan? No love for you here.
With all the damage you've been dealing yourself with drugs and alcohol.
There is no surprise in his voice, only careless superior.
What else? I'm not a brain doctor. Look on the bright side, you've got a...
It's hard to say if he doesn't believe you, or doesn't care.
And you survived it. Congrats. Even better. Anything else? I wouldn't worry about that. Officers your age have...
Accept it. The body is an object, and objects break down. Do what good you can with yours, before the rest goes too.
What? You want me to do blood work for you again? Tell you just how bad things really are across the board? You want another rundown of everything collapsing inside your body? You want the real, honest-to-God truth? Stop drinking, eat magnesium and vitamin D. Our station...
So it's political. You're being neglected because of political reasons.
And no, I don't want to...
It's not fucking cryo-acta-latte. It's super glue, Doc.
Anything else I can help you with, officer? Sure, officer. What's the number? Got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow.
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isoleri law enforcement service, the crown jewel in the moral intern diadem, alongside EPIS and the coalition government. In the cabin, you see a set of steering. inconspicuous pile of the roofing material, Eternite. Because it's nice and No, there's more to this. You get this strain. Hard to say. It's gone now. Feelings pass, you see. Especially the small. An inconspicuous pile, because it's nice and orderly. An inconspicuous pile, because it's nice and... An inconspicuous pile, because there's a secret door hidden behind the panels of Eternite. That's why they're two. There it is. You see a shabby little door.
What is this then? A tool shed? Let's...
Be still, my beating heart. It's the lieutenant isn't studying the powder in the mirror. He's studying you.
Perhaps not. This is below our pay grade, detective. However, see that ladder there? It's probably another way into the industrial harbor.
Looks like someone left his tarpaulin cloak hanging. Man down. A trooper has been... You could swear it's more of an instinct than an actual sight. But you know, there's the RCM signature rectangle on the cloak. It's a cop's cloak.
Yes, it's probably yours. It bears the RCM insignia, and you have a habit of being careless with your equipment. You could probably make the jump. You look like you've done some track and field in your day.
tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing.
The cloak? I do think it's yours, yes. As to whether you should go for it, well, it doesn't seem too dangerous.
The cloak looks like a bag of goodies floating in the wind. Who knows what its pockets...
What are we doing? We're awfully close to breaking into the industrial harbor. They're bound to have or it could be that we are just exploring.
He's thinking you've forgotten where you are again. The wind is aggressive up here. The lieutenant looks at the enormous crane towering in the distance. The look in his eyes is a mix of the engineer-like interest and the wonder of a 6-year-old seeing a horse for the first time. His eyes trace the crane's contour, as if trying...
Yes. We were in the middle of something. Your cloak.
The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. Nope, no.
Sure. Just be careful, okay?
The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. No. The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. Nope. The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. Nope. The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. No. The tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing. As you leap in the air, a chilly breeze engulfs you, sharpening your senses. Ankles tingling from the tension, blood roaring in your ears. You are ready for your rendezvous
He's so on the money, Bratan. Just imagine yourself dual-wielding a bottle and a flaming cigarette whilst airborne.
As the concrete floor welcomes you, you realize it's been a while since you've...
I knew you could do it. My climbing down might not have been as disco as your jump, but at least...
With your feet firmly planted on the concrete, the noise of the harp. All those empty wine bottles and cigarette butts on the ground. Someone partied really, really hard here.
Well, yes, I think we can say with relative confidence that it was you. Yes, this scene isn't exactly ripping with joy.
This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, René Arnaud.
If you must. But please hurry, we are pretty easy to spot.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. The cabinets are clean and their sparse contents meticulously organized. There's a framed photograph on the table.
Let's get going. The entire...
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly...
It's unfortunate for the union to just leave their paperwork lying around.
Let's see what's inside, he thinks. The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown hundreds of documents containing logistical data. Two kinds of transactions stand out, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol, Couron, Coal City, Ladel. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the light, whatever's hidden here, is hidden well. Concentration isn't enough. Only a trained accountant with a background in logistics would be able to really make sense of it. However, there is it appears to be a to-do list written in large. Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor, more banners. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself is crumpled.
Everard Clare, probably, the head of the Debarders Union. One of his aides must have left it. Nothing incriminating here.
Remember, Leo, Everard's shoes, special whirling borscht, water Everard's plants, sweep office floor. More. All items on the list have been crossed out, and the note itself, the drawer, slides shut. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is looking down at you from the wall. A note on the side says, "Tokens unavailable." A rusting control panel with several knobs, two buttons marked Marsh and Arrête. Marsh.